So they'll be calling you a radical. This is a real important video, and I've got to do it because I just got home from Monterey. Now, it's important for people to understand my work. As far as tide pools, timing is everything. Tiny, tiny window. Got to have low tide, got to have a calm ocean in daylight hours. Not easy, and just looking at a tide chart, it doesn't work that way. It's much more complicated. I got a great look through the Central Coast. I mean, all the way from above San Francisco, all the way to Diablo Canyon, to Pismo. Got a really great look. So while I was in Monterey, now, you know I use libraries. I work up and down the coast to get my Wi-Fi. I don't use a cell phone, and I'm using, a good camera. But all the libraries in California are closed. The public libraries, and that's what I do. It's been very difficult for me to get Wi-Fi, but while I was there, it was important because first thing I did, I got home, I saw the obituary of my friend, Jerry, who grew up right over there. He and I, 1 year older than me, we've known each other since we were kids. About a year ago, I run into him. He's like, Kevin, I've got what you have. I said, what do you mean you have? AML? No, I got some crazy moving cancer cells. I says, is it blood cancer? He says, do you know, they can't figure it out. It's moving. I'm like, oh, it's de novo, right? Yeah. Mutating, moving. Is it a blood cancer? Being treated by the same doctor as me? Yeah. I said, well, you look good. You're not in a transplant, whatever. No, they're trying to figure out, but he says it's bad. I saw his obituary in the paper when I was in Monterey. I always check the obituary, so this is important. So first thing I came home, I know where his nephew works. So I drove right over there, the library. I says, did leukemia take Jerry? No. COVID. Coronavirus took him. He was on a ventilator and saw it. What? This is important. This is strange. I was given 2 months to live right there in that window. Second stop I made when I get home, of course, get my blood work done. Talk to my doctor. And thank God my doctors care about me because I'm uninsured, and they're like, Kevin, you just come. We'll worry about the bill later. It's a nightmare. I was sent home. So this is real important to anybody's fighting leukemia right now. This is an important message, really important message. There's so many correlations. Remember, I got first diagnosed with AIDS. The marker on AML, leukemia in the cell, and HIV, they mirror each other. Marshall Jensen, you can look it up, was in the room next to me at the LDS. He's safe on now. First person to get the AIDS injection. By the way, they say it's working now. He passed away 27 years old. It took his life. I mean, talk about a pioneer. Talk about a hero. We had a little boy. I'll start to cry. This is important for everybody who's fighting AML leukemia. And try to pass it around to anybody who's fighting leukemia right now. This is the other component to COVID-19 that we're not talking about. Not nearly. Number one, blood shortage. We have a blood shortage because leukemia patients use a tremendous amount of blood, but it's bigger than that. Now, in a bone marrow transplant unit, they're quarantined from quarantine from quarantine. As you get chemo, it takes your neutrophils to zero, right down to nothing. So it's such a disaster, they have kicked the can on bone marrow transplants. I mean, they're trying to keep people alive, trying to get through this window so people can get transplants. People that should be having transplants are not getting transplants. How many people are dying that have leukemia right now that would be surviving? A lot. It's part of the byproduct of coronavirus that we don't talk enough. Now, COVID-19, my belief system, this is just my hypothesis, and I've run it by doctors. I had AML de novo. I'm a 1% survivor. That's a 1% survival bracelet. It was a mutation moving, very hard to diagnose. It almost cost me my life. I mean, I got sent home by bad doctors. It was the internet. I dug and found myself, and then I had a doctor who finally, 12 different doctors sent me home. Some to die, some said nothing was wrong with it. I mean, I went from 175 to 119 pound-wise in a month. It almost cost me my life. I went into LDS East 8 as a red 10. Written off by most doctors, but Vincent Hansen believed in me. Fimbo believed in me because they know me. I mean, Vincent known me since I was a child. So, right there in that room, when a doctor looks you right in the eyes on a Friday night and says, that was October 2011, you'll be dead within 2 months. Next doctor says with 6 weeks. They sent me home. A month later, I'm at a bone marrow transplant. They had it wrong, by the way. So people that are fighting AML are fighting leukemia. They had me written off. It was over. And just remember this, only the good young. Now I'll be showing you some stuff. When I was at Diablo, I met a great activist down there. I did a lot of work with a young activist. She wouldn't let me do videos, but she says, I have a friend who worked at Diablo, his dad. She's a real pro-nuclear asshole. And she says, I have all his pro-nuclear propaganda. When you guys were protesting down here in the 80s fighting back, she says, I want you to have it. I says, yeah, I'll make something cool out of it. So I've got it all. I said, don't tell me he died of leukemia. Oh, yeah. So how old was he? 62. A little bit older than me. You work in a nuclear reactor. I was in the bone marrow transplant LDS with 2 guys who worked in nuclear reactors in Illinois. And they were still pro-nuclear. My work shows that you work in a nuclear reactor, your statistical probability of dying of AML leukemia is at least 12 times the mean. Now, it's hard to get numbers because people don't list the cause of death anymore, do they? Jerry's family didn't. So, we need to be talking about this more and more and more. What if you do have leukemia? Is these leukemias a mutation? Now, I was in Monterey a year and a half ago, and I had this moving virus that went on for years. I had open heart surgery, as you know. I think the chemo wore out my valve, my gallbladder went, blah, blah. It's been a long disaster. No insurance, kicked off Medicaid by scumbag Mike Lee. Why, I don't know. I still don't know. But these things, my cancer is called de novo, which means new, moving, mutating. COVID-19, my belief system is a mutation from the Fukushima meltdowns. Now, I don't know that, no. But I do know one thing. Scientists are mystified, they're baffled, they're puzzled, they're stumped, they're perplexed. Now, I don't eat, sleep, drink this, Fukushima. I literally sleep with it. I got AML leukemia in the fall, was given 2 months to live. I've been in the fight of my life. You know, anybody that's fought AML leukemia, they know what I'm up against. I didn't have a bone marrow transplant. I was too sick. I was too sick. People say, oh, use organic. I have. I'm alive. 9 years later. You know, there was 44 of us in that unit. I'm the only one left alive. It's been a war from hell. It's a lonely, heartbreaking battle. But only the good die young, right? So if you're fighting AML, and I understand that they're trying to postpone transplants as much as they can, they've got these units sealed off tighter in a drum, hang in there, don't give up hope. You know, there's so many dynamics to this disease and what's happening. I get so frustrated because it financially destroyed me. Lonely. It's made me very lonely. It's a very lonely fight. There's so many byproducts that come along with this that, you know, the number one killer of AML leukemia patients in men is suicide. I wonder why. You're devastated financially for years. This fight doesn't just go away. You don't have it just transplant. It doesn't work that way. It goes on for years. People don't understand that. Oh, you must be better. You're financially wiped out. You're emotionally wiped out. You know, all of it. Relationships. You lose your support group very quickly. The logo, the orange logo says "Fight like a girl's" there for a reason, because girls out-survive men. When it affects men harder. Why? Because women don't commit suicide very often. And you can see why men do check out. But anybody who's fighting this disease, hang in there, man. You know, I was going in and out of a coma. I was down to nothing. I mean, it was hopeless. The pigment was gone out of my eyes, blisters on my tongue, sucked up to nothing, my Fukushima push-up sun hanging out. It was brutal. It was intense. I mean, I don't think people have a clue. They don't have a clue. I had open heart surgery. You know, they split me wide open. Go through that. I remember telling the doctor, it was so bad. I mean, the recovery, you know what that is. It's horrible. It's a nightmare. I says, it ain't AML leukemia. As bad as this pain is, and as hard as it was, it's not leukemia. That's a whole nother world of pain and suffering. That's the ultimate pain and suffering. You go through AML leukemia, these acute leukemias, you don't even know pain and suffering. And it goes on for a long time. It's horrible. It's a hell. They call it the good fight for a reason. It's called the good fight for a reason. So, closed. That's Point Loma, Monterey, Oceanside, Carmel, closed. My old elementary at PB. By the way, typo, that's in Italy. Pacific Grove. I think that's Castro. No, that's Castroville. Not sure, but I have more. What a fight. It's a lonely, hardcore war. Got a lot of good typo work done, you know, to go into my playlist. That's the greatest PhD in human history, but COVID-19 and leukemia patients, there's a big component there. You want to talk heroes? I'll show you a hero. Show me somebody who's fighting acute leukemia. Oh, you don't know heroes. And the PAs, we talk about the nurses. How about the PAs? Have to clean up our blood, our puke, our, diarrhea. Wow, I had some good ones, Melanie. I had some really good ones. It's just you and them. You quarantined in there for so long. This has been a long fight. I'm going on over 8 years that I was given to me. And I didn't have a bone marrow because I was too sick. But so, COVID-19, again, I tagged these all Fukushima news because they changed the world. Ongoing nuclear meltdowns that we don't even talk about. Energy being released into the atmosphere, we don't know, but I know the tide pools collapsed after it happened. I know the salmon collapsed. I've proven a lot of my work. Now, my dissertation, as far as I know, we had a major outbreak inside, and I talked to the doctors in 2011. I mean, major. That unit filled up so big, 2 floors. I've talked to doctors and they says we've never had a big outbreak like that in Utah, ever. Well, we know the mapping showed the Fukushima plumed right over here. I was right up there working, right by where Jerry lives. How correlated is COVID-19 and Fukushima? Mutation. How correlated is COVID-19 and these leukemias, these cancers? I'm going to keep working on it, That's my emergency bracelet. My 1% survival bracelet. Quote my doctor here. That is some kind of resume you have, Kevin Blanche. And I'm broke, kicked off Medicaid, I ain't got any money. What money I do have, I rented a car, stayed in hotel rooms. Everything's old school in Pacific Grove and Monterey and in the Central Coast, except for the prices. Even though nobody's staying there, the prices are still high. So, all you AML leukemia fighters, I remember those dark days in that room. Surreal. Looking out of that room up across here 8 years ago. I had a dream and I held on to that dream. I never really psychologically ever felt like I was going to pass. I hung in there. And oh, did I fight. Hang in there. Hang in there. And just remember this. Anybody you've had a loved one die of AML leukemia, a lot of people hate survivors because they've had loved ones that have died. Only the good die young. And I'm no angel. And people that you expect me to be perfect and I fly, dream on, because I'm way away from that. I'm a fuck up just like the rest of them. I'm no angel. Only the good die young. I still got work to do. Stay in tune.